Do you ever look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back? I don't just mean physically, I mean the person behind the eyes. After a traumatic experience, it's incredibly common to feel like a stranger in your own body, like you're living in someone else's skin. You might feel driven by a personality that just isn't yours, one that showed up overnight, built on guilt, distrust, and a heavy numbness that dulls everything. If that sounds familiar, you're not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. This feeling of being fragmented is one of the most disorienting effects of trauma. It's not a weakness. It's not your fault. It's a psychological and biological response. Trauma can reshape you so deeply that it feels like it's created a new personality. But here's the truth. That personality isn't the real you. It's a shield, a set of survival tools your mind built to protect you from overwhelming pain. In this video, we're going to explore how trauma does this, the science behind why you feel disconnected from who you were, and most importantly, the path back, not to who you were, but to who you are underneath all that armor. To understand why your personality seems to have changed, we have to look at what happens in your brain during and after trauma. A traumatic event isn't just a bad memory, it's a biological injury. Think of your brain's threat detector, the amygdala, as a super-sensitive smoke alarm. In a healthy brain, it goes off when there's real danger, then resets. But after trauma, that alarm can get stuck on high alert. It keeps blaring, even when there's no smoke. That constant alarm pushes aside your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, while the amygdala takes control. Your body floods with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your system stays ready for danger that isn't there anymore. Chronic trauma can even shrink the hippocampus, the part of the brain that helps separate past from present. That's why traumatic memories don't feel like memories. They feel like they're happening right now. Flashbacks, nightmares, intrusive thoughts. They're all symptoms of a brain trapped in survival mode. The trauma personality is built on this neurological chaos. It isn't a choice. It's a physiological state, living in a house where the fire alarm never stops ringing. And that constant state of emergency forces you to develop powerful coping mechanisms that can look and feel like a whole new identity. The first change many survivors notice is emotional numbness. You might feel like you're watching your life from a distance, as if it's a movie about someone else. That's a form of dissociation called depersonalization. Or maybe the world around you feels foggy or unreal. That's derealization. This doesn't mean you're unfeeling. It's actually a survival mechanism. When the pain is too great, the brain shuts down emotional circuits, like blowing a fuse to prevent a fire. The numbness is your brain saying it's safer to feel nothing than to feel that again. But that protection can become a prison. You may not feel joy, sadness, or connection. Even happiness can be scary because any strong emotion might open the floodgates again. This makes you withdraw, lose interest in life, and seem distant, even though inside you feel empty. This is called alexithymia, difficulty identifying and expressing emotions. It's your brain's way of keeping you safe. You haven't lost your ability to feel, it's just been taken offline for protection. The numbness is a wall built to keep out pain, but it blocks love too. The second major shift is in how you see the world and people around you. Before the trauma, you might have believed people were mostly good and that life was predictable. Trauma destroys that assumption. It teaches your nervous system that the world is unsafe, that betrayal can come from anywhere. Your brain rewires itself to scan for danger all the time. This is called hypervigilance. You might jump at small noises, always look for exits, or feel tense for no reason. You're not paranoid. Your nervous system is just working from a new blueprint. This constant alertness seeps into relationships. Trusting others feels impossible. You may push people away to protect yourself or test them to see if they'll leave. Intimacy feels threatening. Sometimes you even repeat old trauma patterns, not because you want the pain, but because they feel familiar. This is often part of complex PTSD, trauma that repeats over time. It creates a personality defined by walls instead of bridges. You expect the worst, prepare for abandonment, and keep love at arm's length. This isn't who you truly are. It's the soldier within you, still standing guard, long after the battle ended. The third and most painful part of this new persona is guilt and shame. Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am bad. Many survivors blame themselves. It doesn't make sense from the outside, but from the inside, it's about control. If it was my fault, the mind thinks, then maybe I can prevent it next time. Blaming yourself feels safer than admitting how powerless you really were. Shame goes deeper. It whispers that you're broken, unworthy, or unlovable. That if anyone knew the real you, they'd turn away. This kind of shame is absorbed from an abuser, from silence, or from a world that blames victims. It becomes a core part of identity, convincing you that you deserve pain. It can lead to self-destructive habits, not because you want to suffer, but because it's the only way to feel something. But this shame isn't yours. It was placed on you. The person who feels it isn't the real you. It's a version of you that was lied to. If any of this feels familiar, the numbness, the distrust, the shame, take a deep breath. Pause. What you're feeling is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. It's not a life sentence. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to healing. If you feel comfortable, share in the comments which parts resonated most. And if this video helps, consider subscribing. At Mindros, we're building a space for understanding and recovery. It's easy to think, this is who I am now. But that's not true. You are not broken. You are adapting. We have to stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what happened to me? That shift changes everything. The numbness wasn't a flaw. It was your brain's emergency brake. The distrust was your shield. The shame was a weight someone else forced you to carry. These aren't character traits. They're proof of survival. This person, the guarded, cautious version of you, kept you alive. Instead of resenting them, thank them. They protected you when you needed it most, and now you can help them rest. Healing starts when you replace judgment with compassion. That's when self-blame turns into self-understanding. So how do you find your way back? The truth is, you don't go back. You go forward. You grow into someone stronger, more whole, more real. This is called post-traumatic growth. It means that through healing, we can develop deeper appreciation, stronger relationships, and greater resilience. The growth isn't in the trauma itself. It's in what you build afterward. That growth begins with small steps. Allow your emotions, rebuild connection with your body, relearn trust, especially with yourself, and rewrite your story. The trauma story says, I'm broken. The healing story says, I survived, I'm growing. It won't happen overnight. It's not linear, but it is possible. The person you became after trauma is not a stranger. They're a guardian. They fought for you. They helped you survive the impossible, the numbness, the distrust, the guilt. These are battle scars, not identity. Healing is helping this guardian stand down, letting them know the war's over. You don't erase the parts that survived. You welcome them home. Through that process, you don't return to who you were. You evolve into someone new, someone with deeper empathy, stronger presence, and quiet, unshakable strength. You can be both wounded and whole, both fragile and resilient. This is not your fault. You are not broken. And the journey back to yourself, no matter how long it takes, is a journey worth taking.